In this video, we'll look at adding moldings to cabinets. Moldings can be added to base, wall, and full height cabinets. I'll go through the process and add moldings to the cabinets on the right to match those on the left. Let's begin with the base cabinet by adding a shoe and edge profile molding. In the cabinet specification dialog, there is a specific panel for moldings. To add the moldings, I'm going to begin from the bottom with the shoe or the base and then work up to the edge profile molding for the countertop. I'm going to come over and use the Add New button. This will open up the library browser. I'm going to come down using the core library and browse down through the architectural moldings profiles, come down into the base molding, and I'm going to choose a simple quarter round molding. Once you select the molding, you can change the sizing information for that molding. The width at 3/4 of an inch, the height at 1.5, and then you can also control the offset information for the horizontal and vertical. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get into the crown molding. The other thing you can do is change to top or uncheck from top. That will then move the molding offset to the bottom of the cabinet. If you're going to create a molding schedule, you can assign a type to the molding. This will help when you create your schedule to identify what sort of a molding is being used for your cabinets. I'm going to come over on the type and I'm going to choose that this is a base molding. For the edge profile on the countertop, let me pan towards the top of the countertop and I'm going to come back and add new. I'm using the core catalog. You can contract the base molding, scroll down, find the edge molding, and choose a profile. There are additional profiles that you can download from the 3D library. If I contract the core catalogs, we come down to the bonus catalogs, come down to countertop edge profiles. You can see that I have several more profiles to choose from. You can download these added profiles, and I'll show you in a minute in the library how to download those. Once I choose the style of profile that I want, then again you can choose the sizing information. You see a preview of it. You can change the sizing. If your countertop is a different size than the default that comes in, you can easily resize the width and the height. Notice the check mark is to the top. And again, if you're going to be creating a schedule for your moldings, you can choose the type of molding. That way it will show up in your schedule. The moldings that we put on the cabinets will be different than the materials of the cabinets in most cases. I'm going to use the material eyedropper up in my upper menu. I'm going to pick up the color from the countertop, apply it to the edge, do the same thing for the shoe molding, pick up the body of the base cabinet, come down and click on the shoe molding to apply those materials. If you're going to get the additional content, you can come up into your library and say Get Additional Content Online. This will open up the 3D library. If you do a search for molding, you can find those edge profiles that I was using right here. Also, a number of the manufacturer cabinet companies have their profiles available, whether that's for a crown molding or other millwork they may have available. For custom crown molding profiles or countertop edge profiles, you can import DWG or DXF files, or you can trace over an image using Chief Architect's CAD tools to quickly create that profile and then save it into your user library. Then you can assign the profile to the cabinet or other objects, and the program will automatically extrude the profile for you in 3D. Let me next take a look at the wall cabinet and add a light rail and a crown molding. Like the base cabinet, you're going to find a panel for moldings. To begin with, for the light rail, come over, click Add New. I'm going to come down into the library. I'm going to use a basic rectangular molding out of the core catalog, C001. In the preview on the right, you can see that that molding is at the top. For the light rail, I'm going to move this down to the bottom. For the width and the height, I'm going to set the width at 1/2 inch, and then for the height, I'll go ahead and set that at 1.5 inches. Then using the offsets, I want to use the horizontal offset, and I'm going to go in and put in a -1/2 inch. That's going to pull that molding in. And then the vertical offset, since this molding is 1.5 inches in height, a negative value, -1.5, will pull that down below the cabinet box. Then, using the type, I'm going to go ahead and assign it to be a light rail. That again will show up in my molding schedule should I choose to use one. I'm going to repeat very similar steps for the crown molding. I'm going to come down, use the same molding profile, and then notice it is at the top. We'll go ahead and set the width. I'll set this also at 1/2 inch. The height I'll set at 6 inches. Then for the offset information, again I'm going to set this at a -1/2 inch, and then a negative value will raise that up off the top of the box. For the molding type, I'll assign that to be a crown molding. Next, let's take a look at using the offset molding for face items. Currently my cabinet is an inset cabinet. Let me quickly change that from an inset cabinet back to a traditional full overlay style cabinet. And then on the molding panel, let's come in here and take a look. As I zoom in and use the rotate in the cabinet dialog, you can see that the molding is set back from the face item, and I want that to be flush or proud with that face item. There is the offset check mark, and when I make that change, you can see that the molding then moves out to be flush with that front face item. Crown moldings can be stacked and built up. To add an additional molding on top of this cabinet, let me go back up, use the Add New option. I'm going to come down to the core library. I'm going to browse into the crown molding, and I'm going to grab one of the profiles that's very basic. I'll use the round numbers. For the width, I'll set it to be 2 inches, and then the height, I'll set that to be 4 inches. And then you see the horizontal offset and the vertical offset, and you see a preview of it down here. Given that the molding below it is 6 inches and the current molding is 4 inches, a negative value again will raise it up off the box. And if I put in -10 inches, press the tab key, you can see that molding then comes up. If we kind of take a look at it, and since the molding below is marked to be offset for the face item, I'll do the same thing here. It's now consistent all the way around. There is a horizontal offset, and if I set that to be -1/2 inch, that should stack that molding to be even with it. And again, what I like to do is mark that that is a crown molding, and let me go ahead and close the dialog and let's take a look at it. One of the things that I like to do to make sure that molding is exactly positioned is use a back clip cross section and take a look at it. From the floor plan view, I'm going to use a tool called the back clip cross section camera. It's the view that has the half version of the house. I'll come down here and just take a small slice right through the middle of that cabinet. Then I'll use the zoom tool and take a look right in the area of detail for that stack molding. You can see that they're exactly stacked. Sometimes you may be using a nailer to apply the molding to do that level of detail. Sometimes I'll use the CAD cross box, come in here and just draw a small cross box that can be used for a nailer, and then use the detail call out with the text and information that could be sent out to a layout sheet for the installation of this build-up molding. A few times in the video I've referred to creating a molding schedule. Off to the right hand side of the screen, I've created a molding schedule for the design I've been working on. You can create this molding schedule by coming up into the Tools menu, down to Schedules, and using the Custom Schedule item. Then by double-clicking to open it up, we'll give it a name of Molding Schedule. Then as you browse down through the different categories that are available, there's a specific one for molding. I'm going to go ahead and select the cabinet moldings and countertop moldings. It'll get the edge profile, and then there are the different available columns that you can add and subtract. You might notice on mine I've got a profile over here. You may not see that. What I've done is I've grabbed the 2D symbol, added it over here, and let's just move that up one, and then I've renamed it. So I just called mine Profile. Once you have that set up and then you close the panel, you can see that you've got the information for your molding schedule. All of those columns can be customized for your exacting needs. For more information on cabinet moldings, please see the program's built-in help as well as our other videos, and thanks for watching.